Hi, Andrew Bell here, and good to be with you again. Been some beautiful weather here on the Gold Coast. Now, today we continue with our look at the Gold Coast property market. First up, we'll look at vacant land and house and land packages. New volumes of land are currently well in excess of demand, with approximately 2,000 odd lots due to come online throughout the course of 2013. Whilst there is an oversupply of vacant land at present, you have to look beyond just this year. What we do see in doing so is there is in reality no available subdividable land in the northern regions of the Gold Coast, for that matter in the southern either. In other words, the existing stock of vacant land we have is all that we're going to see in the supply of land for years to come. And that will only change if local government changes its zoning. And there's actually very little sign of that happening. The volume of sales of vacant land has been at low levels for quite some time. After peaking in December 2006 at about 900 sales in a quarter, it declined rapidly through 2007 and of course all the way through to 2012, and it ended up around 200 lots per quarter. With first home buyers being much quieter, this has had a major impact. And also in the house and land packages, where investors were always active, this has also slowed quite significantly. Late last year, BIS Shrapnel reported early signs of recovery in the Gold Coast market, with leading activity for new homes and first home buyers on the increase. Now, that has translated into increased sales activity, but we do want to see some consistency before we can be sure that this is actual pattern. The Gold Coast City Council in September 2012 introduced a 12-month moratorium on infrastructure charges. That certainly stimulated buyer inquiry. So summarising for land and house and land packages, we have an adequate supply of both at this moment, but within a year or so, that situation will turn around quite rapidly. And with little prospect of new developments being available, we will rapidly move into an acute shortage situation. The reality is the city limits and city zones will simply prevent us having a supply of land. Now let's move to the high-rise market. This is one that always attracts a great deal of interest. Throughout 2010-11, all major forecasters and researchers predicted an oversupply of apartments, with one particular researcher predicting 5 years oversupply. Well, in January 2011, as I studied the market closely, I forecast that we would have a shortage by 2012, and that has certainly emerged. Even as late as last year, we had a diversity of opinion, with one researcher stating the Gold Coast apartment market sales had jumped by 43%, whilst another claimed that sales were sluggish. You know, as the largest seller of apartments here on the Gold Coast, our knowledge of each project certainly supports the higher sales rate research. What we know is that in our super high-rise stock levels, they've dropped down to just some 210 apartments. Now, this is a dramatic turnaround over the past 6 months. Whilst there are a couple of buildings now being launched, if you wanted to buy a unit today and move in the next 3 to 6 months, your choice is now limited to 200 units. With the current sales rate at nearly 70 units per quarter, you can see the shortage really developing. One of the issues with the remaining stock is the high majority of these are in the $1 million plus bracket. There's no lack of demand for new high-rise apartments, but of course with prices being as high as they are, it will be hard to see that the sales rate will rise rapidly from the current levels it is. It's also quite remarkable that there are so many buyers of $1 million plus apartments, and it's a really strong positive statement for the Gold Coast property market. Of course, the majority of the stock is now 3 major buildings, the Oracle, the Hilton and Sol, and it's probable, if not certainly, a case that by the end of this year, the Hilton and the Oracle will be totally sold out. It's amazing how quickly the high-rise market can turn around. An example of this was in the 12 months of 2012, our office sold about 80 brand new apartments. Yet in January alone this year, during our summer peak season, we sold 49 new apartments in that 1 month alone. Looking forward, we know that new development approvals have been down some 60% on the long-term approval rate. Now, at this stage, there is no high-rise buildings under construction, but pleasingly, we are seeing a number of projects with development approvals and plans in place for construction to start very shortly. But with any new building, it will be between 3 and 4 years before completion. And that'll be the longest void of newly completed high-rises in approximately 30 years. So there is certainly no oversupply of high-rise apartments. And with the remaining stock, it's only a question of how long it takes to find buyers in the $1 million plus bracket in great numbers. But on the current levels, I can't imagine it taking more than 12 months. The issue of high-rise market isn't the current sales rate or the current stock levels. It's simply a question of when will we get a new supply of apartments, and in particular, apartments in the price brackets that the great majority of people wish to buy in, which of course is in the sub 600,000 bracket. The other thing we've got to watch is where will these buildings pop up? Will they be in the prime areas that people want, or will they be in secondary areas? But pleasingly, we will get some opportunities as we move into the next couple of years. Well, in the next report, we'll have a look at broader issues relating to the Gold Coast. We're looking forward to catching up with you again in a fortnight's time as we rapidly move towards our spring season. If you are thinking of selling, there's an absolute acute shortage of property in the marketplace at present. And this is resulting in amazing buyer attention to whatever's in the marketplace. We've been getting some fantastic results, particularly at auction. You know, you see markets like Sydney and Melbourne at present, where their sales rates at auction are up over 80%. And that's certainly telling us that there's great results being achieved for sellers. They're remarkable figures, and it's the acute shortage that's creating this. These results have always been happening on the Gold Coast, and was moving into one of our busiest times of the year. It's a great time to consider selling. So if you are thinking, give us a call. You'll see our number on screen, and we'd be only too happy to perhaps give you a little bit of information about a very special campaign we've got coming up. Well, that's it for this fortnight. I wish you all the very best and look forward to seeing you shortly.